Hello, welcome to Jackrabbit Journal. The SDSU women's basketball team gets another 20-point win at home, but the injuries are starting to pile up as the Jacks hit the road now for the next 3 games. We will talk with Johnston about all that coming up. The SDSU men split over the weekend. They get a win at IUPUI, but that came after the Jacks had their 8-game win streak stopped in a 10-point loss at Fort Wayne.
First half, we were not sharp at all defensively, particularly just guarding the drive. We got beat several times just one-on-one off the drive. And that's just a mentality. And we knew that that's what they like to do. I mean, they go to Forbes and then they put it on the floor and they drive. And we just, we got caught flat-footed several times. And I think, once that happened, they got very comfortable. And in the second half, we were so worried about the drive that we didn't close out the shooters and gave them wide-open shots, and they made threes. And so it started in the first half. Two things. They're playing very well. They really are. And they know who they are, and they've gotten comfortable with it, and they go to Forbes, and they play around him. And, on top of it, we weren't sharp, and it's going to be hard to beat them at their place if that's the case.
Well, Fort Wayne was very efficient and very good offensively in this game, and you may have heard the saying, good offense will beat good defense. Well, Nagy has heard it, and he's not buying it.
If you really have good defense, I would say no. I think, I've heard that said, and I think that it has more to do with the NBA, because the NBA is designed around offense and one-on-one play and has defensive rules where we don't have any defensive rules. And, if we can remain tight and do a good job on the ball, I think, overall in an entire game, good defense, can be good offense. But we weren't good defensively, so it really didn't matter.
Coach says the Jacks were tentative, not nearly aggressive enough. They only shot 11 free throws, while Fort Wayne shot 27.
We took way too many threes, which, again, goes back to the mentality of how we played. We were very passive. We settled for jump shots instead of being aggressive. They were aggressive. And they generally the team that is the aggressor is going to win, and they were. You're not going to play perfectly every game and have the kind of energy that you need every game. And you have to have great energy on the road, and we just didn't the first game. But I always tell our players there's only one. In my mind, there's only one good thing about losing, and what it does, it reminds you how good winning is. When you win a lot, sometimes it can become mundane and you don't enjoy it. And when you lose, then it reminds you again just how good winning is. No matter if you win big or win small, winning should be enjoyable.
So it was more enjoyable on Saturday at IUPUI. The Jacks get a 7-point win against a team that is no longer the doormat in the Summit League.
They're tougher, and I think Coach Garner's doing. He's doing a great job. He really is. They physically kicked our tail. We haven't been beat up on the glass like that all year. And they're better defensively. They're long. They have big guards, and we have small guards, which it makes it a lot more difficult to score and shoot over the top and pass around them. And they're just doing a very good job of being physical and playing good defense.
IUPUI out-rebounded the Jacks by 16, and Nagy is amazed that his team could win a game given that fact.
They were just way more physical, and that's all there is to it. I always tell our players that I can probably count on one hand the times that we've out-rebounded a team by 10 rebounds and lost the game. And I could probably count on one hand when we've been out-rebounded by 10 rebounds and won the game, and that was one of them. We were okay defensively. We took a little bit better care of the ball than they did, and that's probably why we won the game. We shot more free throws, which helps. It was a very physical game. But we were much more aggressive off the dribble, attacking the basket. We got to the free throw line. That's probably what won the game for us.
All 5 starters played at least 30 minutes at IUPUI, first time this season for that. But Coach says that just goes by feel each game, depending on fouls and circumstances. Nonetheless, those starters, the older guys, Parks and Marshall and Larson and Biddle, have been very steady in the last 3 weeks.
And they're juniors and seniors, 4th and 5th year guys, and that should be the case, So, we can pat them on the back and tell them that's great, and it is, but it should be expected at this point too, because they all have a lot of experience playing college basketball.
Well, the Jackrabbits only have one game this week. That's at home Saturday against North Dakota State, and we'll get Coach's thoughts on that a little bit later in the show. One more thing, though. You may have seen this regarding Twitter. Is that really Coach Nagy tweeting during halftime of games?
No, that's obviously my account, but and every once in a while I do get somebody that says, are you kidding me? You're tweeting at halftime? But people should, at this day and age, should be smart about social media to understand that maybe it's not me doing it, but somebody doing it that's around the program that understands what we're thinking and what we're talking about. And it's just, it's an opportunity to give our fans a look into what we're thinking and what we're doing, and we feel like it's been mostly a positive thing for us.
So there you go. We believe it is assistant coach Clint Sargent tweeting on Coach Nagy's behalf during halftime of those games. Anyway, up next, Ian Thiesen has become the first big man off the bench for the Jacks. The story on the Big Cat when we come back.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Welcome back. We've been talking a lot about the new guys on the men's basketball team this year. George Marshall, Deondre Parks, Reed Tellinghusen. Well, one of the biggest contributors has made himself a regular part of the rotation now and possibly will be in there for many years to come. Here is David Brown with more on freshman big man Ian Thiesen.
Over the years, SDSU head coach Scott Nagy has typically settled on a very limited 7- or 8-man rotation. So for freshman Ian Thiesen to break into that coveted group is a sign he's doing something right.
I'm really happy with my progress. At the beginning of the year, I wasn't getting a lot of playing time. I felt like my confidence was really low, and then all of a sudden just something clicked during practice, and I just started getting more confidence and more confidence. And in games, I just keep playing a little bit more and more each game, so that's been really good for me to see that I was able to work through some trouble at the beginning of the season.
At 6'9", Thiesen's primary responsibility is to provide rest for starter and senior Cody Larson, a player who's taught him plenty already.
Cody's a big guy. Everybody just thinks he just uses his muscle and his power just to go by people, where it's actually, he's got a lot of really good post move, a lot of finesse game to him. So I've kind of learned just to also that the power, of course, is a big part of it, but also the post moves, just repetition that wise has been key too.
While Thiesen's minutes may not seem big from a numbers standpoint, the impact on the team is huge.
It feels good too, because I feel like I've earned it. As a freshman, you're not really given any kind of loose ends, no rope really, kind of on a tight leash. So for me, just to be the first big off the bench now just kind of means that I've really earned it in practice and the way I played.
Thiesen admits one of the big reasons he's seen an increase in his role is because he's taken the game more seriously since arriving in Brookings.
In high school, being 6'9", I sometimes didn't have to play so hard because I was just bigger than everybody. In college, that's not the case, so probably just always playing hard every single time I'm on the floor.
But that's not to say he can't laugh at himself either. Guys his size typically don't have three-point range, but it's a part of his game that surprises most who see it.
I'm not going to say I'm not a good shooter, but when it's the guys are standing in the middle of the lane, when I'm at the three-point line, I'm going to shoot it, and then it's always funny seeing the coach's reaction after I make one, just opposite coach's reaction when I make a three, just out of disarray, like, why did he, he can't believe he just made that, so that's been kind of fun.
But he knows he better make it. Otherwise...
Yeah, absolutely. I got to make sure I'm going to make it because, just one snap of the finger, Cody's coming in for me, and then I'm just back on the bench. I'm just in there, play hard, try not to mess up any big keys, talk on defense, always box out, just basically kind of do the little things to make sure that our team is successful.
Well, up next, the Jackrabbit women get some overtime in a win over Fort Wayne. And what's up with all the injuries? We'll talk with AJ next.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Well, the South Dakota State women are keeping the sports medicine people busy lately, but the Jacks keep winning at the same time. Here is Coach Johnston after the win over Fort Wayne on Sunday.
I thought our defense was good. It was disruptive, forced 24 turnovers, and that was pretty much just all man. It wasn't any trapping or anything special. They've got some good players, and they shot the ball really well in the second half. We I think, kind of got a little bit complacent as the game was going on. It didn't have the same edge. And then we just turned it over too much. And some of our turnovers resulted in easy baskets for them. And so it's just really hard to look at that second half and know if we were good defensively or just the flow of the game was so hard to really get set. We still had a ton of really good defensive possessions. There were probably 4 or 5 shot clock or very close to it violations in that game where we really held them down. No, I thought we played really well defensively. That field goal percentage stat probably doesn't tell a whole story, but I thought we were very consistent and played very hard defensively.
On the offensive end, sophomore center Clarissa Ober scored a career-high 14 points in the first half alone. She made 7 of 8 shots in the game and ended up with 21 points.
Clarissa missed one, so that's probably the one she's thinking most about, but she's a really good shooter. She's been inconsistent this year, but she is a very good shooter from the perimeter. And I think where she's really emerged this year is she's doing more with her back to the basket. Last year she was really a good jump shooter who would score some inside, but now she's trying to learn how to be more of a true post player and score around the basket and not have to rely on jump shots. And when you can do that, she gets herself to the free throw line. She's a great free throw shooter. And that's a great way to build her confidence, is to make some of those plays.
Speaking of making plays, a great one in the first half. Mariah Claren getting on the floor and getting it to Carrie Young for a fast break bucket.
We had a lot of good effort plays. That transition play was a really neat thing. And then we had one series, I think we had 4 offensive rebounds and just worked and worked and worked. We didn't score in the possession. We wanted so badly for someone to make a shot there so we could really appreciate that. But you saw a lot of effort from our team. And I think that comes again to our seniors, Chloe and that junior class. This is their time. This is their time of their career in a season where they've got to step up and really lead, and lead by example with that kind of effort. And so you mentioned that play that Mariah made. That's a senior making a play and setting a great example for everybody else.
The Jacks ran out to a 22-point lead at the half and then lost a little focus in the second half after Megan Witashik went down after a knee-to-knee collision.
The second half, I thought, is when it got just a little bit chaotic, and the game wasn't over, but it was very much in hand. Then I thought Megan's injury kind of took a little bit of life out of the facility. We still don't know a lot about where she's at or when she'll be back or how long she may even have to be out. She might not need any time, really. So we'll know more as we go kind of forward in this week. But when you have a play like that, it's easy to kind of get deflated a little bit.
Still, the Jacks finish it off and win another home game by at least 20 points. Well, AJ has talked a lot about doing it with disruptive defense, and the Jacks have been able to use all 5 players to defend anywhere on the floor.
I think a lot of it goes back to the whole team, I think, is on the same page. We switch a ton of screens, so it's not like it's any one player has stepped up to lock up another great player. All 5 of our players guard all 5 of their players. And so our team concepts have really kind of hit home, and really it's a fun style to watch when you see a team work that hard and be that in sync with each other and communicate that well. It just says there's a lot of work that's gone into getting to that level.
Freshman Ellie Thompson got the start on Sunday in place of China Stevens, who missed her first game of the year with an injury.
Ellie Thompson had a great, first career start for us. Looked like she'd been in the lineup forever in that position. She's played really free, played really aggressive. China will be out for a while. We don't know how many weeks. She's got a foot injury, but she'll be out for a period of time here. So whether it's Ellie, Rachel, someone that we've talked about in that starting lineup as well, Clarissa, depending on matchups, we're really banged up right now. Going back to Gabby, Megan Stewart, now China, potentially Megan Witashik. I don't know if there's many teams that could handle that many injuries and still be competitive. But when you watched us, you didn't really see a big drop-off. Everybody we put in the game is an incredibly accomplished player, incredibly confident player, and they'll be just fine as we go forward.
And the Jackrabbit depth will come into play this week with Thompson and Lexi Alexander and Chloe Korneman all getting more good minutes.
Lexi and Chloe continue to play well, especially against teams that pressure us. We can play with 2 point guards because Chloe's played a lot of 2 this year, but she has a great deal of experience at the 1. Lexi can do that for us. Lexi and Macy will probably play together more now with some of our injuries that we've had. Rachel will probably play a little bit more, not only at her spot, but she might slide to a 4 at times. Not that we'll post her up a bunch, but she can defend that position, and she can give us some depth in that area. Because we're right where we need to be, but we're a little thin when we get in foul trouble in some games, and we're going to have some versatility from some of our players.
We've got more from AJ later on the Jacks' upcoming 3-game road trip. But up next, Dre got the juice in the rapid fire interview after this.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Welcome back. Here is Jackrabbit Jr. Deondre Parks talking about his favorite shoes and how George Marshall stole his jersey number in this week's Rapid Fire interview with David Brown.
Why are you number 0?
George took my number 11, so I didn't mind wearing 0.
Did you pick 0 or did they give it to you?
Oh, Coach Clint gave it to me. He said it would look good on me, so I went with it.
So are you mad at George for taking 11?
I wasn't mad, but I wanted to at least play a one-on-one for it.
And he beat you one-on-one?
No, we never played, so I just walked away and kept 0.
Is that one-on-one matchup coming?
Probably not.
Not even in the off-season?
Oh yeah, we go at it in the off-season. So.
All right, you're from Flint, Michigan. What's the best part of Flint, Michigan?
I had to say about my high school, Flint Northwest, where I grew up at.
What was so cool about that? What was that area like?
Just playing street ball outside every day, every morning, every weekend. So it's kind of carried over to me playing now.
You a Mateen Cleaves fan? He's a Flint native.
Yeah, that's my uncle, man. I love Mateen. He's a great guy. You know, he keeps in contact with me, let me know things I should work on.
You played at Iowa Lakes Community College. What's the best part of Estherville, Iowa? I know it might be tough.
I don't know. It's not too big, and I didn't go many places. I'll have to say just going to Hy-Vee and getting out the dorms was the best part, like the best part in Iowa, instead of just being cramped up in the room all day.
Had to be tough for you if the best part of Estherville's the Hy-Vee.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
Who's the biggest jokester on the team?
I'll have to say myself. I'm pretty sure the guys tell you the same thing. Or Cody. I'm gonna go with Cody.
What kind of jokes do you play, or is it just, you know, saying stupid stuff, or do you actually play practical jokes?
Well, silly things, stupid stuff, silly faces, silly dances. Cody does the same. So.
Guys have a gray jersey, a white jersey, a blue jersey, a black jersey. What's your favorite jersey here?
Black.
Why the black?
I like the black jerseys because it's very different than any other jersey that I ever played in, and just feel it's a better fit for me.
Who is the smelliest teammate?
Ian Thiesen.
And why Ian Thiesen?
He's a big guy, you know. After practice he's gonna smell, so I'm going with Ian.
What's your favorite pair of shoes ever?
The Jordan 11s, just some retros.
The tuxedo one with the patent leather?
Yes, sir.
My favorite as well. All right. You said black is your favorite jersey. What's just your favorite color in general?
I like red. I mean, that's something I think I consider myself I look good in is red, so I stick to it.
You know USD is red, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't catch me wearing it on game day or anything. Coach Nagy probably wouldn't like that. What is your favorite in your short time here? What is your favorite Coach Nagy story? Either a funny story or a stupid story. What's your favorite experience with Coach Nagy? I don't know. I can't remember any stories, but the most thing I will remember about Nagy is him stumping every time, you know, something doesn't go right and he's just stumping the ground. So when I hear a loud stump on the ground, I know he's upset. Do you just sort of take it as it is, or do you get scared about what he's going to say in the huddle? We kind of take it as it is. He lets us know to take it and just go, you know, keep playing, listen to him, and then let it go out the other ear. All right, and then the last one, who would win a horse contest between you and all your teammates? Probably Zach. You know, Zach hit some crazy shots. I mean, half-course shots. I'm going to go with Zach. Zach Horseman. Yeah. You wouldn't even say yourself? I'll probably 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. I'll give Zach 1. All right, thanks for playing.
When we come back, a look at the week ahead for the Jacks and a peek at the new Jackrabbit football stadium taking shape.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionauto.com.
Well, Well, there's a huge game in Brookings on Saturday. The Jackrabbit men play North Dakota State. We will have it live here on Midco Sports Network at 4 o'clock. Scott Nagy says he and his guys are not even thinking about the Bison this week until they have to.
I don't look at what everybody else is doing. I try not to pay attention to it. It doesn't really matter anyway. I mean, what matters is the next game and getting our players focused on that. And so if I can maintain my focus, then it helps me maintain their focus. And if I'm looking at what everybody else is doing and paying attention to what everybody else is saying and all those things, it doesn't help anything. And so, you know, over the years, I've done a good job of not reading things, not looking at things, social media, newspapers. I don't pay attention to any of it, and I just try to pay attention to what we're doing.
All right, he will have them ready. NDSU plays at Denver on Thursday. Depending on what happens in that one, the game on Saturday in Brookings could be for the outright lead in the league with just a couple of games to play. The Jackrabbit women play at Denver on Wednesday, at Oral Roberts on Friday. The Jacks pounded them both at home, but you never know when you're playing at their place.
That's going to be a challenge, and it's a road trip for us. Denver and Oral Roberts coming up this week. Both are incredibly good at home. You know, Oral Roberts only lost one game really at home, and they've kind of handled conference opponents. Denver's always a better home team. So the travel's going to be a factor. Our short bench, short rotations are going to be a factor, and then the quality of the teams. But this time of year, you got to find a way to get it done. If you want to be in the hunt at the end, and we do, and feel like we should have that kind of team, we just have to get past all those distractions and find a way to get this thing done.
Well, this thing would be another regular season championship, but some work to do yet. Big game coming up on February 21st when USD comes to play the Jacks in Brookings. Before we go, a peek at the progress on the new football stadium taking shape. Work being done on the grandstand side this week. The scoreboard will come out soon, and work will continue on the south end and the visitor side. And we will check on the progress every couple of weeks. We'll see you next week on Jackrabbit Journal.